I spent way too long figuring out how to make clean, stable, spiked wigs. This was my first attempt, this was my second, and this one is where I finally got it right. So when I made my first two wigs, I tried the traditional teasing and hairspray method first, and while it's a solid technique, it didn't survive the trip to the con. For my Briar wig, I wanted a gradient going from white to pink at the ends, so I dyed a few extra wefts in hot water with red dye and a little dish soap, dipping them the same way as the wig. When I build each spike, I basically work in two main sections, sometimes three if I want extra volume. The first layer is a very smooth hair that covers the top and also left and right sides, following the weft structure of the wig. The second layer goes underneath to seal the bottom and cover the sides smoothly as well. Optional is a third layer in the middle with crimped or teased hair for extra bulk or coverage. One trick I like to do is leave a small strand between each spike so the parting stays smooth and you don't see any wefts. What you will need: aluminum wire, batting, uhu glue, hairspray, wig wefts, a comb. First, shape your wire using your reference. Cut it not too short and not too long, and get the curve right, because once the hair is glued on, curving the wire will make the hair bend or twist weirdly. When cutting the batting, it depends on how thick you want your spike to be. I usually go for a thin to medium spike, so I cut the batting just enough so it barely covers the wire. To attach the batting to the wire, I start at the bottom and work my way up slowly, making sure the batting wraps around the wire and sandwiches it evenly. When shaping the batting, I like my spikes to be extra pointy at the bottom, so I trim away anything that looks too bulky on the wire. Before I glue the prepped wire, I comb and straighten the hair to make sure it's extra smooth. I also place the strand a few times on the spike to make sure it's centered and can cover all sides evenly. Quick note, I realized here that my wire needed to be shaped a little bit differently. For the spike that is more upright, I glued the wire close between the wefts, making sure not to catch any stray hairs from the sides, otherwise you'll lose hair for the spike. If your wig has a gradient or you notice your top layer isn't covering enough, you have two options. Add a third layer with crimped or teased hair for extra volume and coverage, or, my method, glue in extra wefts or loose hair before attaching the top layer to fully cover the spike. Small tip: always check the front view of your wig before gluing any hair on, so it doesn't just look good from the side, but also from every angle. When gluing, I apply the uhu glue directly onto the batting. This lets me adjust the hair slightly if I misplace it, without making a mess. I hold it down to make sure every layer gets glued evenly. I will now continue this, not only with the white but also with the pink hair. When feathering the ends, I lightly trim them with scissors so they're still a bit longer than the wire. This helps create a pointy tip. I also add a tiny bit of glue on the ends to seal them shut. Then seal it with hairspray and you're done. And this is how the finished wig looks after traveling 8 hours in the car back and forth, got worn on a competition and a day after, and standing for 4 months on that styrofoam head in my humid caravan. If you like this video, want to see how I made the Briar cosplay, or need patterns, consider checking out my socials, especially Coffee and Instagram.